Hi there, it's Sally from Soul Purpose Communications. Thanks for joining me today in this episode. Hope you enjoy it. I'm going to talk today about blind spots, which sounds like a bit of a paradox because you can't actually see them because you don't know they're there. However, I think you can actually discover them. So this episode is about blind spots and finding out where they are. Let's dig in and start. So this story begins a couple of years ago when I head off on a training course. And I thought that it was going to be a business management course. We were dealing with analysing an assessment model, and the model was measuring people's human potential and how much of that they were using. The idea was that we'd be able to take this tool into organisations and teams and help them assess how a team was working together or could work together. So, I was kind of looking to a week of role play, data analysis, organisational structure stuff. So we were there for a week in a castle in Holland. In the first session, immediately, they started with a check-in. How are you? What's life for you? What's worrying you? Are you okay? I immediately realised that this was going to be more than just a business training. It was going to entail doing some personal development too. So here I am in a castle miles away from home, an hour into the training, realising that I'd run headlong into my first block. I was going to have to reveal myself, be vulnerable, and run the risk that the other people in the course might not like what they saw. And I had to do a whole week of it. There was no escape, literally and figuratively. I was stuck up a tower. Standing there in front of the group on that first morning, I made my first check-in with the words, I don't do group stuff. I do my work alone or with friends. I don't do it like this, with strangers. My message dropped into the room like a stone sinking into a pond. It disappeared and left some waves rippling around the room. But interestingly, there was acceptance, love, and compassion for me, for my situation, for what I was feeling. I sat down, I was confused. What was going on? So the meeting went on, and I learned very quickly that the check-ins happened a lot, really a lot, 2, 3, 4 times a day. And by the second day, I knew that I couldn't stay hidden behind the wall. I knew there was a choice. Well, I could have stayed hidden. I knew that I didn't want to. I didn't want to stay hidden behind the wall I'd put up around myself. So I could jump and see if I swam, or stay behind the wall in my tower alone. I recognised the signals. I recognised the impulse to jump. And I knew that it was a good time to try and that I shouldn't miss the moment. Inevitably, sitting in our circle, the hands of the clock were moving towards me, and I knew that there was going to be the time when I could literally stand up and speak or not. So I grasped our talking stick like it was a life raft and hung on. And I spoke. I spoke from my heart. I spoke from the part of me that was real and authentic and fierce and loud. And this time, speaking like that, the words were alive and bouncing off the walls. And people were really listening and taking it in and taking me seriously. And I realised there was actually a strength in that voice, that authenticity. And I thought, is that all there is to it? Is it that simple? Do I just have to say what I really think? And actually, I think it is. I think part of the blind spots that they get there because there's stuff that's not allowed to be spoken, not allowed to be said, not allowed to be seen. And they get hidden away, and we forget about them. And actually, they're there all the time, chasing us around. So that was the irony, of course, that the answer is always easy. I'd been making up my story, and I'd been believing it to be real. And actually, it's all so much simpler than that. Just turn up and say what I really think. In the last days of the training, I learned also to stand in silence. And sometimes not speaking was just as powerful as speaking. And in that moment, it went beyond words. There was also the point of presence. Standing in front of the group and letting the wisdom of the universe speak through me. So it was more than my words. There was a bigger picture there as well. So right on the last day, I finally saw the power of being able to process within a group. I understood that the group isn't there to judge me or to hate me, but to hold loving space for me so I can gather the courage and the strength to do my part. And the beauty is that I don't have to do it alone. The strangers quickly became people that I'm deeply connected with and that I share a bond of love and compassion with. And more than that I share the bond of humanity with. And I think that's the thing that unites us more than most. In truth, I hadn't entirely understood the enormous steps I'd taken in Barlow until I was doing a Skype session with one of the guys in the group. And he said to me, "You know, Sally, you were one of the people who made the biggest journey that week. You moved from unconscious incompetence to conscious competence." That was quite a lot of big words. And I needed to get over the surprise of being called incompetent. But once I'd done that, I realised he was right.